Hi-ho, Kermit Deep. No, James here. I just realized I forgot my tea. I might have to do this tealess. This could be rough. Buckle up. Today, I want to talk about 5 things that I am not taking on the PCT with me this year. There you have it. I thought of this this particular subject because, of course, I'm going through my gear and trying to decide what am I going to take, what am I not taking, and I realized that there are a few things that that I almost have always taken on backpacking trips with me. Some of them have been everyday carries of mine for a long, long time. So it felt kind of weird that I was ditching them for, in some cases, for nothing. Not replacing them with anything, or actually in many cases they've been replaced. Number 1, a fixed blade knife. I spent a fair bit of time early in my life playing with guns and knives. As good as I got with firearms, I still always preferred blades, and I don't know why, but there you have it. And I've always had a fixed blade with me. This is one of my favorites right now. I was the guy who in college made a special wrist sheath just for my knife. That was fun. I wonder if I still have that. Anyway, instead of fixed blade, I am taking this is coming with me. Now this is also something that I've carried with me for a long, long time. It's my Swiss Army knife. Which I'm sure many of you will recognize. Now it probably weighs as much as that fixed blade knife, so weight's not really as much the issue as utility and size. So I'm not really going to need, I'm not going to be doing a lot of batoning probably, as much as I like to build campfires and I have a permit to do it in California, but definitely not going to be skinning out any game. So but if I need to cut the occasional piece of fruit or open a box, then this will work fine. Thing I like about this is it also has my scissors, which will probably come in more handy than a knife, and it also will carry my tweezers. So and a couple of other blades, a little saw. I'm sure there's going to be a couple towns where this is going to come in handy. Come on now. Number 2 item that I will not be taking with me, that is another thing that I've always taken with me on all of my outdoor treks. This compass. I've had this compass probably since college or shortly thereafter. This Sunto, I'm not even sure what model it is, but it's great for orienteering, land nav. I've always had a compass with me, and the thing I love about this is it also can take a beating for me throwing it around, but it also has this mirror, which I don't check myself out all the time, but every once in a while it's nice to be able to see that stick or thorn that's sticking out of your eye or whatever. But that's something that I've always taken with me, but this is actually being replaced by another multi-function item, which I have been wearing for the past, half dozen years that I've owned this. This watch, this Casio Pathfinder, is also another multi-tool item that is going to be replacing that compass. So I only wear it when I go out backpacking. I'm not really much of a watch guy, and since I have my phone with me all the time, I don't really need a watch that much. But when I go out, I love this because it's got the compass, it's got a barometer, and an altimeter. So and I use those pretty much all the time when I'm out and about, whether it's keeping track of weather changes. I can record my altitude drops and changes. It pretty much covers a lot of the stuff that a lot of the GPS devices will do. But I got it right here on my wrist, and it's also solar charged. So as long as it gets couple hours of sun every day, even in clouds, it still functions fine. So this will be coming along with me instead of this. And actually, even if I did bring this, I'd still have this, so getting rid of that. There, half the weight. Number 3 on the list is something also I've always had with me up until now, even as backup, is this, the paper map. I will not be taking a paper map with me on this trek. I should probably qualify that. I will not be starting with a paper map on this trek. As I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, no paper maps for me on this trek, at least not for the beginning. Depending on what kind of snow that we end up facing in the Sierras, and right now it looks like it could be considerable, at that point I might be picking up some paper map copies just so that I have the ability with this to find the trail, because it'll be likely buried under a couple feet of snow or more. Fortunately, I'll have those skills to fall back on if need be. Up until that point, I'm not really going to need it. The Pacific Crest Trail is pretty well marked, and there's going to be hundreds of people out there with me, especially for the first 700 miles till we get to, at least until we get to Kennedy Meadows. So, I'm not worried about getting lost on the trail.
Those choppers do like to mosey on by like a beat cop on a lazy Sunday afternoon.
Instead of paper maps, we are taking WilderHancock app, which actually won't be on this phone, it'll be on that phone, but you get the idea. WilderHancock is going to be the way that the way I navigate this trail, which again is a first for me. I've never used an app, let alone completely depended on an app before. So this will be a unique experience for me, but I think it's perfectly suited for this trail, considering all of the, excuse me while I wait for this helicopter again. Anywho, as I was saying, WilderHancock is perfect, I think, for this trail, considering all of the other information that you get from the rest of the community that uses WilderHancock. The other item that I won't be taking with me on PCT this year is something that also has always been in my pack. I probably all the time that I've been out for one reason or another, and that is the Carabiner. I usually have at least 2 of these and some form of webbing or rope with me at all times, using to hang my hammocks, my backpack up off the ground, fording rivers. I've used them for all kinds of things. But the weight again and the size, I've been looking for alternatives, and I have found it in the shape of the soft shackle. That, my friends, is a soft shackle. If you haven't seen that before, if you want more detailed information on this kind of thing, check out MeyerTech. I'll put his link down in the description. But check out MeyerTech, because he makes these things. This happens to be one that I made, but it basically is just a soft version of something like that. Uses cordage like this is AM steel, and you put a loop on one end and a knot on the other end and cinch it down on it, and this is just as strong as this. I think MeyerTech he's done some research on this and some testing, and I think he just put up a video, or maybe I just watched a video of his where he discussed the strength of these. But suffice to say that for what I'm using for hanging bags or even hanging in my hammock, this is plenty strong. I don't need this. This will do just fine. In fact, now for my hammock system, instead of using the carabiners, now I actually purchased from MeyerTech. This is just a loop and button version that wraps around the tree, and then instead of the carabiner, this. Right, I'm not showing this too well, but I may do another video on this, and certainly when I get out on the trail I'll show you how this all works. But that loops around the tree, that buttons into there, and boom, you're done. A fraction of the weight, and super soft, goes anywhere in my pack. The 5th thing that I'm not taking on the trail is, again, something that I feel like I've always had with me. Since as early as I can remember, I've been shooting with the camera at some point, some time or another. As a professional photographer for years, videographer, I always have a camera. But on this trail, I am just going to use my phone. Actually, not this phone. The phone I'm shooting on right now, the Google Pixel 3 XL, will be my camera, also my maps, and also my phone. And it's going to cover a lot of functions for me. If anything happens to that thing, I'm screwed. Yeah, that's going to be my camera. And since I've decided that I'm going to make more of a movie out of this event, I've upgraded it with a few things, including the Moment lens package. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to afford a couple more lenses, but right now I have, well, someday I'll do a video on that, just about that Moment package and kind of what my workflow is going to be like. But I'll be shooting on the Google Pixel. I'll be editing on that phone as well, using KineMaster, which I've been doing for all of these YouTube videos so far, just kind of getting used to that process. We'll also be using it for the interviews that I do, all the B-roll stuff, and those Moment lenses. The anamorphic is delish. I love that lens. Right now I have the anamorphic and the wide angle lens. I still would love to get that 58mm and maybe the fisheye or the macro, but I don't have the budget for that yet. So that's it. Those are the 5 things I won't be taking with me on the PCT this year. I'm sure I'll be fine without them. A couple of them will be really weird not to have, but like I said, I think I've got everything that I'm going to need to make it happen. It seems like in the course of this video, I also came up with an idea for a couple more videos, and I just keep coming up with ideas all the time. So I've decided that it's about time to increase the frequency of my video posts 2 times a week. I've been shooting for Mondays, and now Mondays and Thursdays. Today's Thursday. I'm taping today. We'll see if I get it out tonight. But that's the goal, and hopefully I can maintain at least 2 per week throughout the entire adventure. Also, the entire team here at WilderHancock Pictures, which is pretty much just me, has been heavy into the pre-production of the filming of this event. When I first started out with this idea, it was pretty much just about the hike and the fundraising for Lead the Way Fund. But I'm a filmmaker. I should have seen this coming. The more I get into it, the more I research, the more I look at other people's videos, some part of my brain just goes into this mode where it's like, you know, what's not out there already? What can I contribute? And this idea, this building idea of doing a documentary of this experience has been growing. So at some point in the next week or 2, you can look forward to 1 or 2 announcements about PCT2019, the movie. See you on the trail.